names that is on the table still. Students will be consulted, parents, and the school board will ultimately vote. Some other ones on the table, but we have the mayor, the city of Youngsville, Ken Ritter, who's been very vocal about his want for it to be named Youngsville High School, on the phone right now. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. So, Mayor, we're kind of interested in your perspective on this. I mean, the school will be located in Youngsville. So, you know, how do you guys really feel about this, and how is the community reacting?
Well, great question. Our community is 100% in support of naming the school Youngsville High School. Myself, my colleagues, our residents have shown a great deal of leadership prior to the superintendent assuming the position, prior to the school board being elected. This is not a new issue for us. We've known that we needed a new high school in Youngsville for some time. Obviously, when we started this year and we see that we have a new superintendent, a new school board, we're real excited. We're happy that they have agreed to locate the school here on their section, on their property that's here in the city of Youngsville. The biggest concern that we have now, though, is a detail that, quite frankly, I wasn't really concerned about. Most important for us was to take care of our kids, get them a place to go to school, make sure that the growth that we have in Youngsville is going to be sustainable. Mm-hmm. But now there's a committee that's been put together for the name of the school, and I have a lot of concern about the manner in which this committee is operating. Mm-hmm. The committee's met for 1 hour on Monday night. They took 17 submitted names, dwindled it down to 4 within an hour. It was on AOC. It was in a public format. It was very transparent in my mind. I was disappointed that the planning director for the school system, Sandra Bilodeau, in my mind was biased, and she led the discussion, and it was obvious that she had an agenda the entire time. But outside of that, once the names were brought down to 4 names, the meeting was adjourned, and direction was said to email your top votes to Sandra, and we would release the results tomorrow. So Tuesday morning, we get the results, which are just the totals, and that's Caneview and Cypress High. Mm-hmm. So Youngsville wasn't a part of that at that point at all. So what I did was I reached out to the superintendent, I reached out to Sandra, and I said, please send me the details. It's obvious you guys want to make this as transparent as possible. I watched it on AOC. I saw the votes, but why the secret votes at the end by email? That's not really conducive of what I think you're trying to achieve. Mm-hmm. Within an hour, Sandra Bilodeau showed up at my office in a very threatening, condescending, and bullying manner, basically implying to me that I've made my recommendation. Now it's for her to make her recommendation. And she even went as far as telling me that that this money that's being spent can be diverted to Lafayette High to rebuild a new Lafayette High if I don't acquiesce.
So do you get their side of the argument that when there was a Youngsville High, everyone who went to the old Youngsville High lived in Youngsville, and now it's going to be comprised of, you know, like they said, I think it's going to be about 20% of the kids who go to Como right now. It'll be people from Broussard. It'll be people from Youngsville as well. Is there a happy medium for you that's not Youngsville High?
You know, absolutely. There were other names that were given. I thought South Lafayette was a fine name. There was others that I thought were fine, too. My issue, again, is at this point, it's not about the name. My issue is with the lack of transparency. I spoke to Sandra yesterday in person when she came to my office to intimidate me because I questioned the process. I spoke to the superintendent, and both of them have refused to release the results of the vote, which were done on school system email, which I believe to be public record.
Wow. Okay, that's a good point. And why go from a public AOC meeting to then
a secret vote?
Yeah. And I don't think there was any intention there or anything. I'm not saying that, but it is a good question as to why you would do that. I mean, yeah. Okay, I see your point, so go ahead.
Well, you know, my point is, so this has shifted from, we've been the community that has shown leadership to say, we need a school here, get your act together, or we're going to take it into our own hands. That's back since my predecessor was in office, who did a great job of leading that discussion. where we are now is we were very excited and energized that we have a new school board, we have a new superintendent. But my question is, why are we letting a bureaucrat run the show and pull the strings? Because it's indicative of the good old boy politics and the backroom smoky deals, and that's exactly what's wrong with our democracy. At the end of the day, whether the school is named Youngsville or not, the process should be transparent. The ideas should be vetted. And you can't deny that there's an overwhelming desire and push from the community of Youngsville to name the school Youngsville High. Youngsville is the only community that stepped up to the plate and said we would contribute $750,000 of water and sewer development costs, which are typically development costs. Mm-hmm. My city engineers, my traffic consultants have been meeting with the school board multiple times at city expense, not the school board's expense. So to simply be shunned, disrespected, and bullied because I'm questioning the process is unacceptable, and every resident in Youngsville should be furious about this.
It just seems sort of crazy. You would think with this process, and especially your take on it, it would be a much different decision that was being made than the name of a high school. It doesn't overshadow, in your opinion, though, if I'm correct, or correct me if I'm wrong, that you're happy that a new school is going to be down there because you have a closer option and something right down the street.
The school we're all ecstatic about. My administration's been part of the planning from the July workshops at the school system. We are thrilled about the opportunity. A new school in Youngsville, I do not want to lose sight of, is absolutely the best thing that's going to happen to our community to continue propelling our growth. We're successful because of the quality of our school system, because of our kids, and this is just going to help solidify that position for us. So regardless of what the name is, it doesn't matter. We are going to have a brand new school, Lafayette Parish's first new school since the 60s, and we are very appreciative of that. What I'm concerned about, again, is just the lack of transparency and to be told flat out, I'm not sharing the details with you because you don't need to know them. And I just don't think that type of bullying and intimidation tactics have any place in our democracy. That left with the old school board, or so I thought.
Well, we will try to reach out and see if maybe we can get the votes to post on our website or to report on later on today.
I've already requested it.
Okay. City of Youngsville Mayor Ken Ritter, we appreciate you joining us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you,
we
sir.
will keep up with this ongoing debate until, ultimately it is, as Justin Santani told us earlier this morning on Acadiana's Morning News, the school board is the vote.
Yeah.
And in many situations, this sort of conversation does not even usually happen. A school board says, here's where it's going to be, here's the name, and here's where it's going to be built, and everyone moves on and smiles about it. So it's interesting. Ultimately, we just have to remind ourselves, this is going to be a building that's going to support education for young people.
Right, which is exactly what he just said.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so how exciting the whole project is,
So I think it's going to be a very interesting story to cover and debate, and we'll keep on top of it here at KPEL.